Threads is Tinder for creators. It is hot for a week and then it goes to the next. But that has not been my approach on Threads. I've hit 13K followers, 2.1K school members, 1.5K monthly recurring revenue as of last Friday without being a content fuckboy. Here is my 9-step playbook. So you can get the followers, you can get the school members, the newsletter subscribers, and the monthly recurring revenue. These are your options. We want to avoid burnout. No one likes that. You can rage quit, which is what I've seen most people end up doing. You can be a content fuckboy, which is taking the approach of trying to be on all these different platforms at once, or you can follow my 9x1 method. Hard choice. Step 1 is one business. Pick one, not 2, not 6, 1. If you've got 2 side hustles or 2 online business ventures, a full-time job, kids, and a book club, that could be an Instagram page and a podcast with your friends, and think about how much time you have in the week and how much time can go towards those things that aren't kids, the husband. Very time consuming. Anyway, think about how much time that leaves for the side hustle, right? Think about how much time that leaves for these side hustles with everything else going on in your life. Maybe at best, 5 hours for one side hustle, 5 hours for another, and then whatever that book club podcast thing is, 2 or 3 hours. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, nice kind of easy number, that it's 15 hours. Even Yasmin and I have done about 38 or probably 40 onboarding calls inside of Full Circle so far. And across every single one, we've asked the same question. How much time do you have to dedicate towards Threads? These are one-on-one calls, right? Each one has been for like 2 hours. So we've got to know each person very well. And these people are parents, they're in corporate, they're in their early 20s, they're in their mid 60s, all walks of life. And the common kind of range or time available to work on their online business and relatedly Thread stuff, I'd say is about 10 to 15 hours, maybe 7 to 15. So that's where that number's coming from. If you're splitting that across 3 different things, maybe that gives you 5 hours to work on each. Imagine if you deleted those other 2 things and redirected 10 hours into the one thing. What does that mean? You're going to get to your destination 3 times faster. If there's one thing I've learned so far in this whole journey, it's that you're not time poor, you're focus poor. This is the biggest problem for everyone. If you don't fix this, nothing else will matter, because you're not making the hard choice to stop doing stuff. Here's something that I find mind-blowing. So this is a newsletter that I wrote. As you can see, the date, June 14th, 2024. I'm going to skip to the part that is actually relevant. I don't write this newsletter anymore, and that's very topical for what we're talking about right now. Here were my goals after deciding to delete Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Now, little asterisk with YouTube. Technically, I still post on YouTube, but someone on the team does that for me. Twitter, I don't do it anymore. Instagram, if anyone looks at my Instagram page right now and looks at the bio, you'll see how I'm practicing what I preach. Spoiler alert, it literally says, I only reply on school. So the point is, when I deleted that stuff and I was making some new goals, my new goals were build audience to 10K by July 2025. It's now March, and I hit this 10K goal in November last year. Grow YouTube channel to 1K by 2026. It's at 360 now. It's not been a priority. Maybe we'll get there. I don't know. But this is a really cool one. Convert 1,000 Threads followers into community members or newsletter subs by 2026. Now, if you're watching this live, you would know that this community, Saints College, has 2,100 members now, and it's March 2025. So I hit this 1,000 community member goal in November last year, which is about 14 months earlier than this projection. I hit my goals, in this case, 8 months faster, and I hit this goal 14 months faster. I believe that was purely a result of having more time to spend on them. So I come back to the main point. Delete everything else, focus on the one thing, see what happens. I guarantee you the mental clarity that you'll have as a result will blow your mind. Most people won't do this because it's very hard, because you feel like you need to be everywhere. Just try it for a week and see what happens. At the very least, it'll be a cool experiment. So that's step one. It's one business. Step two is one platform. Now, probably see where I'm going with this. So if you're watching this, the platform is Threads. You're not Gary Vee if you're watching this. You don't need to be everywhere. That comes later when you can afford to pay people to go and redistribute your content. But why I think Threads is really still, yeah, you get it. Why I think you should be on Threads if you're watching this is because it's where early distribution meets stupidly low competition. In short, you're still early. Threads has been out for almost 2 years. It's still an opportunity, and people are still struggling to realize that. And we see more and more people coming onto the platform every day. This has been my approach. I went all in on it. You saw what happened with the follower goal, about 13K now, 13.3. And it's just because, honestly, I'm not the best. There have been people that have grown so much faster than me. But I just keep doing it because I know that if I don't quit, I'll get good results. So, look, obviously I'm biased towards Threads, and you guys obviously enjoy it too. But pick one that you just naturally like spending the most time on. That's really what I'm saying. One platform, because you got to try and master one before you try and master all of them, unless you've got infinite money and can pay people to master them for you. Instagram's dead. Go all in on Threads. Okay. Step 3, one strategy. All right. One strategy. Thanks, Ryan. You guys know how it goes, but repetition is an effective way to learn. So here's me repeating. You post 3 times per day. You have one listicle, one one-liner, and one long-form post. What do you post about? You pick 3 things that you'd rant about for free in a group chat. Think about what those are. Think about the links that you send in your group chat that has some aspect of, look, I was about to say it's some net positive, like it's educational or whatever, but you can be an entertaining creator as well. The point behind that is it's something that you are naturally interested in. And the key word there is like rant. If you can rant about it and you're passionate about it, you can put emotion into that, because your writing has to make people feel things if you want it to get distributed to a large number of people. If you're only coming at this from a logical perspective, you're basically running up a hill with a weight vest. Whereas if you put a little bit of emotion into it, you drop the weight vest, you go higher, much faster. 3 topics that you would rant about in a group chat for free. Those are your 3 topics that you post about on Threads. Initially for me, this was self-improvement, online business, and mental models. You'll see later how I've converged those 3 into just one thing. Now, this answers the question of what you post about, because you're posting 3 times per day. You've got 3 topics. You post about 1 topic per day. You also post 3 long forms. Let's say if you're posting on a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Saturday, post a long form each day. If it's not one of those days, post another listicle or another one-liner. Simplest way I know to not only be consistent on Threads, but to have an idea about what you're posting each time. That is the one strategy. 3 topics, 3 posts per day, 3 long forms per week. It's simple and it works. Okay. Step 5, I think we're on. All right. Yaz sent me this in our Slack channel earlier, and here's me going on a rant in the group chat, because I love you guys and I basically consider Saints College a big group chat. So I just had to call this out because I'm really sick of it. This profile in .dark.reality plagiarizes everyone's posts. I know the dude. His name is Saeed Oliver. He had the audacity to pitch me in my Instagram DMs before I quit Instagram early last year. And then a week later, he plagiarized my post. And then so he was trying to be friends. And then I see later on that he started plagiarizing my shit. And honestly, it's been probably 5 times where I've noticed that he's plagiarized my stuff. And then Daz sent me this screenshot. It's the Stephen Mellor, and it's basically what we can see here. There's a post from February 2024 about how Stephen's leaving Gumroad. It's a bit of a a hot take, because you see he's made over 100K on Gumroad, but he's leaving. Makes you think what's going on. Then you see the exact same screenshot. Wait, sorry, I get confused with the American. Wait, yeah, is this screenshot for you? Is this February last year, or is it October last year?
For me, it's the 3rd of the 7th.
Yeah, so is that
which
American?
One?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not
because
sure,
you know
for
how
me,
in America,
this would be...
It would have to be the other way around, actually, because we're not in July 2025 yet. So anyway, the point being, this was posted in March. This one was posted in October last year. And this dude, he's copied the same screenshot, and he's actually gotten more likes. And this account's grown to tens of thousands of followers in a couple of months. I've seen it. This is not a strategy. This is immoral and unethical, and no one should do it. This is the fastest way to have no credibility, become addicted to vanity metrics, and help no one. Don't do it. Moving on. Step 4 is one niche. So firstly, you post. And we've already established how to go about that with the one strategy. The 3x3. 3 posts, 3 per day, 3 topics, 3 long forms per week. The whole point of that initially is data. With all of those reps, you get data in the form of those vanity metrics. And that's why those metrics are helpful, because they tell you what you should do more of, and conversely, what you should do less of. And the result of that is you get clarity. You post, you get data, you look at the analytics, and you get clarity. As a result, at the other end, you get your niche. So what do I mean by that? Essentially, this is what you do. Use Threads GPT if you've got it, or Chat GPT to draft posts. This is what I do. We've got this content calendar inside of Full Circle, has viral post templates, and then I use those to get a draft. Then I put it into Notion to edit it and put my own unique spin on it. And then I will schedule it in BlackTwist. BlackTwist will also give me the analytics to determine, to look at the data from a bird's eye view and look at, okay, this is working, this is not. BlackTwist is the equivalent of that for Threads, not Buffer or Metrical. And we've partnered with them for a reason. It's you want to support the guys who are building from the ground up, and they're not some multi-billion-dollar corporation that has no face. So once you have that kind of system, then you look at your analytics in BlackTwist and filter it based on your top 25 or so posts. You can filter in analytics based on the metric you want. So it can be based on views or likes or comments or reposts. And I like to use likes as a filter because it's the sweet spot between views and comments. Filter for your top 25 based on likes, then copy and paste those 25 posts into ChatGPT. Use this prompt. Take a screenshot of it. It'll be uploaded in the college class, and it's already in Saints College in the final lesson of phase 1 of Threads growth. It's everywhere. Essentially, in your prompt, you've got your top 25 posts, and then this is telling ChatGPT to basically tell you what your niche is, what the main problem that niche experiences, and what solution you can give that niche to solve that problem. This is probably one of the best things I've ever created for Threads growth, because it's driven by data. You're not guessing. You know that your audience likes this stuff because the numbers show it. This is what I got when I did this exercise last year. It won't come as a surprise. Analysis of top performing posts. Top 3 overarching topics. Number 1, threads, platform insights, and growth strategies. Number 2, content creation and social media strategy. Number 3, personal experiences and lessons in online business. Focusing on that one, it told me that the hyper-specific niche is early adopters of metas, early adopters of meds. The niche is early adopters of threads seeking rapid growth. The problem is new users on threads struggle to find effective strategies for rapid growth and engagement on the platform. Before we move on to step 5, this is a quote that came up in a book I was reading today called Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind. I think it's something we'll find a lot of value in. People suffer from the same disease as products. They try to be all things to all people. The problem with this approach is the mind of the prospect. It's difficult enough to link one concept with each product. It's almost impossible with 2 or 3 or more concepts. The most difficult part of positioning is selecting that one specific concept to hang your hat on. Yet you must, if you want to cut through the prospect's wall of indifference. Can you sum up your own position in a single concept? Then can you run your own career to establish and exploit that position? Most people aren't ruthless enough to set up a single concept for themselves. They vacillate. They expect others to do it for them. So let me ask you this. You see my account on Threads, first thing that comes to your mind, put it down. Put it in the chat, quick. Don't even think about it. Raw. Oh, I like that. Yaz, Threads growth, Rai, no BS, Sam, professional. What? Is that a joke?
Can I elaborate on that?
Yeah, please elaborate. Yeah.
This was my first look on your threads. Like when you go on threads, you see an account with a clear, your clear bio, even the profile picture, like how much detail you put into those things. It shows the professionality. So that's the first thing I see when I go to your profile.
That was a really good exercise for me because my hope was that you were going to say threads growth, but there was only one of those answers. Here's me. I'm not practicing this well enough because if I was, everyone in the chat would have said threads growth. But do you see the point? If 5 people are having 5 different answers, I'm not being clear enough with what my thing is because it wasn't instant enough. And chances are, if you're watching this, it's definitely not instant enough for you either. So pick your concept, write about it in every post, become known for it. This book was written in the 1980s. And the key thesis is that we're overloaded with information. So imagine how relevant this is today. The whole point of this book is that you need to fight for a position in your audience's mind. It's like mental real estate. You want to occupy that. And if you can, that's how you win. It's not about the product. It's about the positioning of that product in the prospect's mind. And if you're the product, same thing applies. So I just thought it would be useful to point that out because we've spoken about talking about 3 topics. That's to give you what your niche is. So the strategy was 3 topics and then niche down to 1. You find your one thing and then go all in on it and become known for that one thing because people aren't going to remember 2 or 3. So that is step 4. Now we're moving on to step 5, which is one path. This is the whole model. Threads to 1K followers. Some people can do it in a week. Some people can do it in a month. It took me 4, but this was right at the start of Threads. I had no idea what I was doing. Point being, roughly speaking, try to go from 0 to 1K on Threads in 2 to 3 months. At this point, if you've done everything else, you have nothing else that you're doing online. You've got your in real life, the husband, kids, whatever, job. Don't do anything else except focus on getting from 0 to 1K. Trust me, it'll become clear in a second. Then, once you get to 1K, launch a free community or a newsletter. On Threads, you're getting prospects or followers, right? These are people who are the cold audience. And then in a free community or a newsletter, you're getting leads, and that's where they're becoming warmer. Then serve that audience like crazy for 3 to 6 months by that audience, the free community or newsletter. You're still doing everything on Threads, but now you've just added on another layer. So you're doing that and giving as much free value as you can for 3 to 6 months, because this is what most people won't do. Chances are you'll probably try to ignore this step. But if you don't, this is really useful because it builds trust, it builds authority, and helps you figure out what to monetize. While you're serving that audience for free for 3 to 6 months in the community or the newsletter, you're seeing what works and what doesn't. This is how you get feedback. You can get indirect feedback or direct feedback. Indirect feedback is, say, I post something in school and it gets 30 likes and 50 comments. That is an outlier in terms of the average sort of engagement my posts get, in a good way. So that would be a form of indirect feedback that's telling me that whatever this post has in it, I should do more of. Direct feedback is something like a comment that has, let's say Danny has a comment beneath one of my posts and he's like, dude, why haven't you posted this before? This is the best thing I've ever seen. I want more of this. It's directly telling me that I should do more of that thing. That's direct feedback. And that can come through any medium or mode. Like that could tell me that via a call, could tell me that in a DM. That's one of the most useful things about just helping people for free for 3 to 6 months is you get a lot of data and feedback so that by the time you reach 1K community members or 1K newsletter subscribers, you're ready to launch a paid offer. That takes a year. Some people can do it in 6 months. We have one member inside Full Circle, Dr. Sam, she's a sleep doctor. Her Full Circle goal, which we set on a 1 year timeline, is 40K followers and 4K school members, and she'll hit it easily. She's gone from 4K to 12K in a month already, so she'll probably beat it. If you're a mere mortal like me, the 12-month timeline is realistic. And the point is that you monetize in month 12. As I've pretty much stated, this is my journey reverse engineered with much more clarity. Saints College is 2,100 members. Full Circle is 37, maybe 38. I saw a new customer notification. I didn't check it. 38 members. Cool. And we're at 1,100 MRR in USD, but in Australian dollars because I'm Australian. It ends up my share being with affiliate stuff like 1.5K MRR. Personally, my goal is to reach 10K by the end of 2026. The main goal for this year, and this is the thing I care about most, is we want to get Full Circle to be the top 25 school on the platform. I'm living this journey so far, but most people, if I tell them, like, take a year to monetize, they're probably going to give up straight away. But this is why I suggest it. You're getting the data and you know that what you eventually offer, it's going to work because you've got trust and credibility and you're building a brand. If you can be patient and play the long game, great. But if you're not, let's say you go down I want to do master resale rights and sell other people's products and never build my own brand. What's going to happen is you're going to just be chasing your tail every 6 months, hopping from one thing to the next and never building something for yourself. You end up not actually moving forwards on some other path that chases overnight success, because you get to a hard point or a boring part and you're like, nah, I'm going to go to the next thing. And then you start back at square one. One path, please stick to it. I promise. This will lead to step 6, which is oneself. What this is saying is the visual is self-explanatory. You can be the people pleaser or you can be the authentic self. My journey has been very far on the end of the people pleaser extreme. And each day I go along in the journey, I get a millimeter closer towards this other end. And I don't think I'll ever get there because I don't know what that means. But the idea of just getting a little bit closer each day is satisfying because I'm feeling more comfortable expressing myself and just not filtering myself and just sharing my hot take. Or as I think it was saying, being raw. And maybe Nick, you've said no BS. Maybe it's the other way around, but you get the idea. So when we're starting off, you'll be Frankensteining your personality by taking inspiration from your favorite people. And that's great because you don't really know what your own voice is yet. But then as you go, and this is that 1 millimeter thing, how you inch closer towards the authentic self, you start embodying the key parts of those inspirations that you like the most, or as I like to say, synthesize a new thing that's different. It has a little bit of so-and-so, a little bit of them, and then you. And you piece all that together, and that represents your authentic self. And then you start practicing that a little bit more each, and that's what inches you closer to what that authentic self is. How does this actually manifest? You talk like it, how you speak, post what you believe, swear like you mean it if that's your thing. Remember that your job isn't to be liked by everyone, it's to be unforgettable by someone. 1 in 100 is all it takes. Because when you're on this path long enough, thousands of people come across you, and that 1 in 100 ends up being 100 or 1,000 or 10,000. And by that point, you've won. All right, that's step 6. Step 7, one system. This is something that we've created for Full Circle because the whole point of it is we've got this 12-month content calendar, 3 viral post templates per day, every day for 365 days. So it's a lot and it's great to create. I'm glad we have, but it's taken as much time as you'd think. So the whole system is, remember about the niche thing, you post content, you get data, you look at the analytics and you get clarity. It's a similar thing with this whole one system approach. Essentially what you're doing is, and this was the topic of last week's call, so if you want the full version of what I'm about to describe, go check that out. Essentially, look at a top performing one-liner, a short post, 1 to 3 sentences. I call it a one-liner because it just rolls off the tongue. Then turn that into a listicle. You've got your hook, 5 to 7 bullet points, and the final sentence that captures engagement and makes people think. Then you turn that listicle into a long form post. Each listicle bullet point forms the basis of what each mini post in the long form post is. Each mini post can be reposted as its own standalone post. Depending on how many mini posts you have, you've got about 8 separate posts. And then you repost those in about 30 days time. You can tweak the hooks of each one if you want to. That's 16 posts from one idea. And that is called a flywheel. This is how you avoid burnout. I knew that we were going to create a repurposing system in this content calendar. It was conveniently at the same time that I was starting to feel a bit burnt out and was like, oh, I need something to help me with this. And this is the system came as a result of that. Solve your own problem, sell the solution that comes from Dan Coe. Think about how this applies to everything we've been talking about so far. You've niched down already, how you're infusing different inspirations with part of who you are to form this like new whole. You're posting about that one thing each day, and then you've got this system to basically repeat that thing. Like one idea, 16 different ways. And that's just one post. Think about doing that for several hundreds. This is how you establish a position in the follower's mind. This is how you niche down. This is how you brand yourself. The first 3 months of it is just getting that data. Then the 4th month is using that data to actually implement this content flywheel. And it's all just like step by step. Pretty cool. So that is step 7. Second last step. Step 8. This is the 1 year thing I mentioned earlier. Chances are you're stuck because every time it gets hard, you jump ship, or every time it gets boring, you chase the shinier object, the shiny object syndrome that we all know of. And then, as I was saying, it's 5 years goes by and you're still in the same spot because you're going in circles instead of going down one path. You go down one and then you're like, nah, I don't like that one. Go back to square one, go down one, back. It's just one big circle. You're not moving towards a destination. We've all come across different models. Step 5, the one path. And That model works. Someone else's model that you've learnt off also works. And then the other creator that you follow, their model, that works too. So I don't blame you if you're like, which one do I choose? I'm confused. I'm overwhelmed. What do I do? All of them work, but you got to pick one. Another way to put it is it's every path works. Oh, it's like any path works. I can't remember it. But the point is, they all work, but you can't do all of them at once. You just got to do one. Figure out what works for you. The point there, pick one. It's if you're going through it and it gets hard or it's boring, that's not because it's broken. It's because you have to just keep pushing through it. Let it get boring, let it get hard, let it compound. Or as I've got in the graphic there, let it skyrocket. That is step 8. Step 9 is the last one teacher. This is related to the thing I was saying earlier. You do not need more PDFs. And the reason why this one is step number 9 is because those 40 onboarding calls we've had with all the members inside of Full Circle, we've seen recurring themes. And this is one of them. You don't need more PDFs. You don't need to be collecting these $29 courses like they're Pokemon cards. I know you're doing it. We've all done it. You're not a student, you're a hoarder. It should be the other way around. Pick one person who is a few steps ahead of you. Quick anecdote, no BS. As some of you, I was in Dan Koh's mastermind, Cortex University for a software company. The proximity to him was very good, but it costs a lot. It was like $6K. And I got a voice note from him because I asked him, what should I do? I'm on Threads. I have 2.5K followers. This was probably a year ago. You guys talk about Twitter. I know myself and the time I have at the moment, and I think I can only do one. Which one should I go all in on? And he basically just said, do both. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do what he said and I paid a lot of money for this, so I'll just go and do it. The result of that was what we saw earlier. 3 months later, I got burnt out and I wrote this to talk about it. The lesson there was that sometimes following the advice of huge creators we admire can be counterproductive. Why? Because they're so far ahead of you that the game has changed. The step they were at 2 years ago that I might be at now, it's not apples for apples because it's a different landscape. Everything changes so quickly. 4 years ago, maybe Dan Koh was where I was at. ChatGPT wasn't a thing. Think about just how AI has changed the nature of content creation forever. Pick someone who's just a few steps ahead of you and their track record is clear, like you can see their results, and who teaches what they've actually done. And then just binge all of the stuff they have because you know it's the one path that you're willing to go down, and the stuff they're putting out there is going to help you go down that path easier. Let's say you consume content for 10 hours a week. If 2 hours of that is spent on 5 different creators that you want to replicate, you're putting parts of yourself down 5 different paths, and that's going to be very overwhelming. If Threads is your path, I would say I'm your person for that. I actually created the word trend. I wrote the first Threads newsletter. I was the first one to use the Threads growth tag, and the creator of the first Threads community. A lot of people echo the stuff that is taught in Saints College. If you haven't seen it, you can look, it's clear. The point is, you've already got the information in Saints College. If you want that implementation, the hand-holding, the accountability, come and join Full Circle. We've got 5 spots opening up for people this week, and this isn't fake scarcity. The reason why we have 5 spots limited is because of the onboarding calls and how we do all of them one-on-one. That takes time. 3 of those spots have already been taken up on the wait list. If you want to join to get one of those 2 last spots, link is in the chat. It's no obligation. Check it out. The link's coming in the chat now. I do memes. So yeah, to conclude, in summary, what have we discussed so far? The reason why you're not growing is not necessarily because you're posting the wrong stuff. It's because you're trying to do too many things in too little time with no plan. What we've gone over today is the 9x1 method, and it fixes that. It's one business, one platform, one strategy, one path, one niche, one self, one system, 1 year, one teacher. The key point is follow that and win, or ignore it and keep chasing your tail. It's an exercise in saying no to everything else. And that's the hardest part. I can only highly encourage you to take this on board, but ultimately it's your call. Now let's dive into what this Threads feature is. Having a look on Threads. Let me see if I can find an example of it. All right. It gives me hope that the people who created Black Twist, they know what they're doing. So this is what it is here. See how next to Luca's name, Luca is the co-founder of Black Twist. And next to Luca's name, there's this tag, which is Threads growth. What does that mean? So tags were initially embedded in the posts themselves, and they're not hashtags because you can only have one tag and you don't need to have a hashtag symbol in the post. You put it in there and then it disappears and turns into a tag. So that's actually been replaced now for what this is here. And let me show you how it works in real time as you're posting. So let's say, I don't know, maybe there's a post here that's post worthy. Stop collecting $29 courses like they're Pokemon cards. All right. So I've got this post, and as I'm reading it out loud, just figuring out what's the essence of this post. Stop collecting $29 courses like they're Pokemon cards. Start learning from one person who practices what they preach. I would say maybe the topic is education, and then let's see what options come up. Education matters, education threads, or it could be focus. Yeah, Sam?
You're talking about Threads growth, isn't it? So why don't you go with Threads growth?
Yeah, true. So what I'm trying to do is, ideally, this would be more about Threads growth, right? But this is actually just a little snippet of a whole post about Threads growth. So because it's just a snippet, I want this tag or this topic to be relevant to the post itself for it to be the most effective. Because if people search for the word focus in Threads and they see this post, that makes sense. If I should focus, maybe I should stop collecting all these $29 courses and just learn from one person. Makes sense? If someone searched for Threads growth and then this post came up, it relates as well, but I don't think it's as relevant as focus. Honestly, either one could work. But the point is, the topic encapsulates what the post has in it. No, not that one. Let's do, I don't know. It's scheduled. It'll be posted tomorrow. But the point is, think about SEO. It's search engine optimization on social media, on Threads. So why is this underrated? One, because people aren't using it. As we can see here, as I'm looking down on the feed, we've got one example so far. Let's go over here and see on the feed. And I'll explain why this is an opportunity that we should be making the most of. Captain Kenny. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Motivation. There we go. Threads growth. Oh, that's me. Not bad. Hey, this guy knows what he's doing. All right. What would I call that? Maybe 30%, thereabouts. The point being, why this all matters, when Threads releases a new feature, they want it to work. Otherwise, they wouldn't release it. So they'll incentivize or boost the posts of people who are early adopters of that feature because it's part of the platform and it's an experience. And if then people notice, oh, this is actually like pretty good, I should do more of this, then that's how that feature becomes a staple of the product. And if it has that sort of network effect, ultimately, more people come to the platform, more money for Zuck, in short. So use that feature to encapsulate what your post is about, but how that all applies to what we've been talking about in this whole lesson is it's the one niche thing and the one system thing. If I become the category killer of Threads growth, for instance, then if someone searches for Threads growth, they're just going to see Lennox. That would probably tell the person that if they want to learn about Threads growth, they should follow me. That's how you can use this new feature to get an unfair advantage right now as it's still being rolled out and people are still figuring out what it's about. That's the new feature. And then finally, as promised, Rai asked about it, a sneak peek of that content calendar. Okay, cool. So this is just the first 7 days and what it looks like. There we go. So day one, you've got one-liners and listicles. You've got your hooks there to see what it's all about. And then let's say you've got this post here. So the template is time frame doing something niche related, taught me what really works, 5 actions or activities, do those for desired outcome, do those to get a desired outcome faster. Most importantly, the reason why we call them viral post templates is because in order for a post to actually make it into the content calendar, we need to see 3 posts on threads that use the framework that have over 100 likes. And that's the criteria. But if we see 3 posts that use a similar ingredient that have over 100 likes, then we'll turn it into a template. And there are countless others, but there you go. When it gets really cool though, let's say you get all the way, like this starts from day 8, I think. But let's say you're on month 2 and then, I don't know, day 31. This is when you start getting Threads GPT prompts and you literally just copy and paste this, screenshot an example, and then all you do is just say, make it about these topics or this topic, like Threads growth. That's the only thing you change. Copy and paste, get 3 versions, pick your favorite one, personalize it a bit, done. And this is how I post. This is how everyone posts, in full circle at least. So yeah, that's the content calendar. I couldn't post without it now because the point is that as you go further down this journey, there's more shit to do. You've got to figure out more effective ways to do what was taking up so much of your time earlier. And this is one of those ways that I've been using that's worked for me. Oh, glad to hear that, Rai. That is today's college class. Did I miss any questions in the chat?
One from Daniel.
Would you focus 3 to 4 topics so your posts start to dominate one broad topic with subtopics to silo, giving posts more juice? Okay, so let's say, because Threads growth has lots of elements within it, and you can approach it from any angle you want. Just to name a few that come to mind, you've got branding, you've got creator economy, you've got focus. Think about all the things that we've discussed in this lesson. It's like step 1 was business, and then platform, and then strategy, and then niche. I would say, to your question, pick one topic, pick one specific topic, and then pick one sub niche, and then pick 3 to 4 sub niches within that. So you're on the right track, but you just want to get deeper and more specific.
I remember you said when I first started, find 3 pillars, then work on them.
Yeah.
As you produce content, you will see what's your audience going towards, and then you can niche down on what's working more.
Exactly. Yeah. But until 1K, pick those 3 topics, the 3 things that you'd rant about in the group chat. That will give you an entry point to see what resonates with people. If you want to make any kind of money here, like online, what you like means fuck all, because you are not the person who will pay you. If you just post about, I don't know, maybe kittens clothing one day and then best fishing hooks or rods the next, and how to cook the best spaghetti meatballs the day after, I see your point, right? People aren't going to, they're probably going to be confused, and it's just a social thing and a hobby, fine. But for the monetary side of things, the way that you eventually get to that point is by looking at what people like on Threads through the engagement. It's a way of them telling you that I like this and I want more of it. If you can then productize what that represents, that's the route to monetization. Nikki asks, how should I implement these steps when selling digital products? Okay, cool. Let me just think about which step specifically is going to be most useful to touch on in relation to digital products. Actually, Nikki, could you give me an example of what a digital product or what products you've got? Because the specific context will help me help you. Yaz? You got your hand up? Or was that just a...
No, I'm drawing my nail varnish.
Oh, classic stitch up, the old drying the nail varnish disguised as a hand up. Okay, affiliate MRR, maybe. Yeah, Nikki, do you have an example? Okay, let me ask you this. What is the price range of the digital product or products that you would or are selling?
So they're like 15 to, I don't know, almost $500. But
Okay.
I'm trying to focus on the $15 one.
General rule of thumb, and I don't know what the specific number is. Adam Jukes would definitely be the person to ask here, but a low ticket item such as $15, you can sell that straight from Threads. Best case scenario, you write a long form post that talks about the problem that product solves. And then at the bottom of that long form post, plug the product. So for instance, let's say my $15 product is an ebook that teaches you how to create your own custom GPT. And let's say my long form post is 5 mistakes people make when they use ChatGPT. So you're talking about all of those 5 mistakes. Mistake 1, your prompts they're too general. Mistake 2 is you don't reprompt. You don't follow up with it. You just take what's there and roll with it. Mistake 3, you don't give ChatGPT custom instructions. Mistake 4, you don't use Canvas to highlight and rewrite specific parts of the output. And mistake 5, you don't actually give ChatGPT the final version of what you end up creating to study so that it improves its output next time. Let's say those are the 5 mistakes. And then I have a summary of those mistakes. And beneath that, I'm like, this is what you're doing wrong. But I've got this guide that gives you the step-by-step process to actually using, so like implementing all that stuff so you can create your own custom GPT in 10 minutes that ensures you'll never make those mistakes again and can write better content on Threads 2 times faster than you used to. And it means you'll save 2 hours a week. The next 5 people get it for $15. That's how I do it. If it was a $500 item, you need more trust and authority because it's not an impulse buy. People are much like these days, $15. It's like a super large coffee from Starbucks or something. It's not that much. But $500, you got to think about it. It's not an impulse buy. So you need to establish more trust and authority. And the way you do that is through the path that I laid out, essentially Threads, newsletter or community, offer. Where you give the free help or content, advice, whatever, in the newsletter or community. Then step 3 is you offer the $500 thing to those people in the free community or newsletter. Awesome. So the lower the price point, the easier it is to sell directly from Threads. The higher the price point, the more you need to do as to bridge the gap from Threads to $500 sale, for instance. We'll do one more question if there is one, and then we'll call it a day. I think that's it.